The Hunger Games?
The Hunger Games!
The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games? Ano ba yung Hunger Games?
The Hunger Games!
Yeah! Are you hungry?
Hey YouTube, how goes it? I'm doing something a little different today. I'm just gonna stand and film this video. So this is a little weird for me. I'm gonna be moving around a lot probably. But anyways, enough of that. This video is gonna be like a little review of the Hunger Games movie. So if you don't know what the Hunger Games are, I don't know who you are. Like, where have you been? You are crazy to not know what the Hunger Games are. Yeah, so here we go. So we watched, I went to the midnight showing, and for me, this is my opinion, this is what I'm gonna say about how I felt about the movie. For me, I had high hopes for the Hunger Games, just because I saw a couple YouTube videos of some of the YouTube stars that were saying that they had seen the movie early and they said it was phenomenal and it was so similar to the book, and other people were saying it was so cool. Like, I know I was reading the Tumblr blogs, like some people who had watched it on the East Coast or in different countries, they were saying it was the best and even more. So my expectations were raised even higher, like the bar was raised even higher for my expectations on the movie. And with the books were phenomenal. They were amazing. I know I couldn't put down the first one. The first one is my favorite. The second and third one, it kind of took me longer to read them, but I got through them, and they were all amazing. I love Katniss's character, feminine archangel. She's the feminine protagonist, and then I loved Peeta's character. I'm more of a Peeta fan than a Gale fan, because Gale kind of became like this revolutionary guy, and then Peeta was just always there for Katniss, and he's the one that's always loved her, I think, the most. That night we were getting really excited, and I got even more excited when I saw all the fans at the movie theater that we went to watch it, and then a lot of the theaters were filled. I went to watch it with friends and family, and so me and my friend that made the t-shirts, we had read the books, but the other people that we went with, they hadn't read the books, so their expectations were like they didn't know what to expect. Me and my friend Gazelle, we kind of were hoping that it was the best, and I think that's the pros and cons of reading the book. You get to know, you kind of know what's going to happen in the movie, and you know who the characters are and what the plot is and what's happening when it's happening in the movie. But the cons, I guess, are like your expectations are high. And for me, I am a strong believer that the book is always better than the movie. But then usually, like in the Harry Potter series or the Twilight series, I kind of, after reading the books and comparing them, I kind of learned to love the movie, even if it's not exactly like the book. I eventually learned to like the series and just forget about it being similar, just knowing that, oh well, it's a movie, what can you do about it? Rarely is there ever the book exactly like the movie. But I think the Hunger Games movie, it was pretty similar. I don't think it really missed out on any of the main parts that were in the book. It highlighted and hit all the points in the plot. Jennifer Lawrence, I didn't know what to expect from her. I hadn't watched her in any movies except for X-Men, so I was kind of not sure on how she would portray the character, but she portrayed Katniss quite well. She looked the part, and she had that strong feminine, charisma in her that fit Katniss's character. Liam Hemsworth, he wasn't really that much in the movie. He's the guy that played Gale. I would have liked to see a lot more of Gale's scenes, but it was kind of like only in the beginning when him and Katniss interacted in the forest when they went hunting, and then they had that like brief conversation, and also right before she went off to the capital for the Hunger Games preparations. Other than that, you caught snips of him like watching on the TV when they were in the Hunger Games, watching Peeta and Katniss's interactions. But other than that, you really didn't get to see much of Gale. Unlike in the book, you kind of saw Katniss's point of view and how she would always think about Gale whenever she interacted with Peeta. So I felt like he didn't have as much screen time in the movie. Peeta, I didn't know what to expect with Josh Hutcherson. He is a young actor that I've been seeing in kid movies for the longest time, so I've kind of like seen him grow in Hollywood, and so I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna fall for him or if he's the Peeta that I imagined. And I felt like I felt like I was like a mama because I'm like older than him, and I felt like, oh no, he's not gonna fit Peeta. But he actually changed my mind on Peeta, and I saw Josh Hutcherson in a different light. He grew. He's older now and very mature, and he fit Peeta quite well. I would have liked to have seen more scenes with them together, because I felt like there was more emotion when I was reading the Peeta and Katniss scenes, and I felt like their scenes were kind of cut like short and dry, even if they did have more scenes together, and you could see the chemistry between them. What's it called? I felt like I couldn't get into watching their scenes together as well, because there were some parts where like the people in the theater were like giggling and talking and kind of annoying during the movie, so I kind of couldn't feel the emotion in the movie. And I know it sounds probably retarded, like, oh my god, she's talking about emotion in the movie, it's just a movie. But I felt like, I don't know, those were some of the parts that I really liked in the book, the Peeta and Katniss interactions and their conversations and their chemistry in the book, and I felt like I wasn't able to enjoy it as much when I was watching the movie, and so but I think it was cute though. Like, I felt like the kiss was kind of abrupt, and I felt like Jennifer Lawrence's, well, actually she did play it well. She was, because in the book she was kind of faking the love, so I guess, yeah, it worked. And Josh Hutcherson, he changed my mind on him as a character and him as Peeta. He did quite well as Peeta. I felt like the intro was kind of long. Like, it took a while before it got into the Hunger Games, and I felt like the Hunger Games was kind of rushed. And actually kind of questioning how they would do all the fight scenes and the graphic stuff that you read in the book, like how they killed each other and stuff, but they did it quite well. They kind of flashed like how they were running, and they put music to it and slow motion it, but they didn't show like the actual like killing and hitting each other. They would show like a little bit blood and on the knives and stuff, or the swords, but it wasn't to the point where you can't bring your kids to the movie. I mean, parents still have to go to the movie with their kids, but I don't think it's going to be like, oh my god, it's horrible, you can never take your kids to it, it's rated R. So that was good on that part, and I loved the heightened, the heightened build-up before, when they were launching them up into the arena, like their countdown to it. It was kind of exciting, and then when you got into like the fight scenes, that's kind of how I felt like when I was reading the book. Like when they got into the arena, the running, my emotions were kind of similar to the book and to the movie in that part. The part with her coming out in the fire, like when she became the girl on fire, and the fire on her dress. My friend and I were kind of disappointed in that part because it felt like it wasn't good CGI. It looked like it was old CGI, not like new graphics, and it's probably because their budget for the movie wasn't that high end yet, and they were trying to go for like an indie film look, so it didn't quite look as spectacular as I expected. I expected like the full on like real fire look, and the fire on the dress. The fire on the dress is kind of cheesy in the movie, I thought. In the book it seemed like so cool, like, oh, I can only say this is going to be so cool in the movie. And when I saw it in the movie, I was like, oh, it wasn't the best. It wasn't how I imagined it to be. And I think for the people who've read the book, and I could be wrong, like I know there are some people that read the book that were like, oh my god, it's so much like the movie, I love it. And maybe it's just because me and my friend, my cousin, we all imagine it differently in our heads, and we had such high expectations that we were disappointed in the movie. But I'm still a Hunger Games fan. I will never, like, ever, be like, nah, I hate the Hunger Games now because of the movie. The books are still amazing, and I hope and looking forward to part 2 of the movie. I'll still go to watch the movie. I'll probably even still go to the midnight premiere. But I'm hoping that there's going to be better, like, visuals to say, and maybe more, I don't know, maybe I'm just hoping that the second movie, the third movie, and if there's a 4th part, are going to be as good. But I know for those who hadn't read the books, didn't know anything about it, and just watched it, they liked it. My brother liked it, my cousin liked it, and they hadn't watched or hadn't read the books, so it was pretty good. And it took me a day to mull over my feelings and how I perceived the movie, and I know it's not good to always compare the book and the movie because it's totally different. It depends on how the director sees the book, but all in all, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't like a waste of money, and it was fun to go watch the movie, and I thought it was pretty similar. It hit all the high and low points of the movie. There were some parts that I wouldn't quite like that I didn't consider as good in the movie, but all in all, I thought it was pretty decent. Some of the camera work was kind of, I felt like a little nauseated during the movie. I don't know if it's just because it was midnight and I was starving and I was just tired, but I felt nauseated during the movie. I don't know why. But all in all, I thought it was good. Yeah, this is my kind of rant/review on the Hunger Games. If you don't like it, that's just my opinion. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and happy Hunger Games! Are you hungry?